There's nothing else to do. It's just like this.
Are we pretty?
Are we?
Yeah. I will have to translate this like as we speak because I don't have it translated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it's gonna come out. Ah, it's already recording.
What?
Okay.
Supreme being, twin souls.
To all supreme beings.
It's been a while, and
Quite a big while.
that's because we gathered an amazing information for all of you, for all of us actually. It's download.
Yes.
So I will say what it is about.
Well, it has to do with the event as itself. It has to do with twin flames, because actually these two are very much related, and more specifically about twin flame unions and reunions. Actually, most twin flames, I think, already have made some connection in between themselves. But they are not in complete union like us. It's very few twin flame couples right now which are in full physical union. And
to be honest, we never met anyone personally like this.
Yes, that's true. We have met parts of twin flame couples, but not complete united couples.
Maximum on YouTube, but I mean, face to face. No.
Yeah, we don't physically have met yet. Otherwise, we all know each other. This is pretty obvious, either from previous lifetimes or from the higher dimensions.
This video is going to address especially the ones who are off the twin flame topic for now, because they say, I'm tired of this movement that is an illusion. Who cares about twin flames? You will see how important it is and how important it's becoming even more and more.
It's actually all this actually will affect the whole humanity, because twin flame union is something much more. It's far beyond just a simple union between the two parts of one single soul. Because twin flames is actually this. It's the soul that has split itself into divine feminine and divine masculine, and they reunite, coming on earth together, the two parts of the soul, through the Kundalini energy.
The two parts of the same coin.
Yes. I did use this comparison the other day, yes. And it's actually very relevant, that it's always the same coin, it just has two different sides. But if you say clearly, it's the same whole thing. So we have to start a little bit further. There will be an amazing astrology forecast here, which comes from a very lovely soul. She's a twin flame herself as well, with her twin flame particle here on earth, but they're also not in union. We haven't met personally with her either. Her name is Laura Georgie.
But spiritually, her energy is amazing.
Yes, and we actually know from a previous lifetime with her. She's from our soul family, and she's absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, she doesn't want to appear yet in front of camera. She speaks perfect English as well, but she's not ready for this experience yet.
But we have her.
I will bring her here one day.
Okay, that'll be amazing.
She knows that too. It's just a beginning of our cooperation. Actually, this is something amazing happening right now. More and more souls, light workers, let's say, are uniting in this time right now to do spiritual work together, and it's happening very spontaneously, and that's there's a very deep meaning into this. It's gonna continue more and more, and it's gonna become much deeper within the next 2 to 4 years, and the culmination of all this is going to be at the beginning of 2024.
And it all started with something bugging you.
Yes.
She was feeling different. Her eyes were like
2 days
drifted
ago.
away. She was not here. And she usually has a lot of emotion, a lot of expression. But that day, whatever day was yesterday or today,
Yes.
it doesn't matter. She was like, she doesn't have this expression. She doesn't have her, herself there. It's gone. So I asked a lot of questions. Of course, they were all not bringing the answers, but at least it was working something. And then
Yes.
suddenly it was like a powerful.
I was just feeling that a very powerful and important piece of information is coming towards me. That's actually another channeling from the angelic essences, just like the song that was here a couple of days ago,
Yeah.
uploaded to the channel. It was very deep. Actually, we realized recently that we have been connected with these essences from a very long moment, both Andre and me, but we were not realizing it as such.
Mhm.
And now we are fully aware of it, and it's much more comprehensible, and it makes perfect sense.
Yes.
We have written about it also on our blog. We're gonna put a link down below. You can read that as well. So we will actually speak about some things from the blog as well, so that you understand the whole meaning of all this information that came to us.
I don't know if it has to do with the topic, but I was never a visual person that much. I was more hearing. And feeling the messages. But and you were the opposite. But lately, with this acknowledgement of the angels,
Right.
you started to have the opposite effect, like to know the message and to hear and what.
And I'm hearing constantly like music and songs and stuff like this in my head.
And I started with this visual stuff, so
Yes.
it's really emerging.
Because we're on the throat chakra.
Ta- Twin flames.
You know how we started calling each other from the first moment we got in contact?
Sorry?
We were calling Sarsi.
Sarsi, yes.
Yes.
Sarsi stands for sweetie plus source and becomes source.
Yeah,
It's
because
very
we come
beautiful.
from the same source, the same particle of energy. We always knew that from the very first moment. You know?
At some point became boring or something because we were calling each other from like in the supermarket. Sarsi! What the hell is this?
Okay, just to let you know, it's going to be a long video because
Yes.
we have to really cover quite a few things. So, there's so much, I don't even know where to start from.
We're gonna put timestamps in the description. I'm gonna see the video from start to finish, and I'm
Okay,
gonna
this
put
will be
timestamps.
your job. Maybe we'll upload the video before we have done this before, but that's really an important information. So it really came as something that is meant to be given to humanity from now, so that we actually give a boost to this process. Because when we make a prediction and when we put it out loud, we actually put a higher intention on it for it to really come to reality. The more souls believe into something and they put their own intention into its coming to reality, the more it actually comes to reality.
Yes, that's what the media is doing. Just the opposite effect,
fear.
inducing fear, and the more fear there is, the more fear will be everywhere. The more love we spread, the more love will be everywhere. That's what we're doing here.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the divine feminine and the divine masculine energy. What is actually God's source? I like to call it God's source. There's some beings who refer to it as Father, Mother God, Father God and Mother God. Because the true expression of God itself is the complete union between divine feminine and divine masculine energy.
Yes.
And perhaps the highest expression of this on Earth is the twin flame energy.
I was just gonna say this.
Yes, because twin flame energy and how exactly they merge with their physical union is exactly this. And here comes the symbolism in the Trinity, in the Christian religion especially. And not only there. They speak about Trinity in many other places. By the way, your last name is Trindade,
Trindade.
which means Trinity
Yes.
as well. We came with so much
We
symbolism.
came with amazing stuff.
So imagine the Trinity as a triangle like this, and at the bottom, on both corners, stand the divine feminine and the divine masculine energy. And as they unite, on top here is the divine God source energy. So every time these two become one with full acceptance and full merging, I just want to clarify, because it's not just a process that, you know, they just dissolve in each other and that's it. It involves a lot of acceptance. And so that this merge can happen.
By the way, her name is Kuneva, Kundalini. So Trindade plus Kundalini.
Yes,
Continuous. Yeah.
absolutely. So when twin flames meet physically, usually their Kundalini is already awakened before that, but with some couples it can happen at their physical union. That's actually the major sign you are looking to find out if the soul you think it may be your twin flame is really your twin flame, because you will have your both Kundalini energies awakened. If you haven't heard about the Kundalini energy or you don't know much about it, Google it, or we will actually put also a link maybe up here somewhere.
To the video?
Yes, we have a video where we speak about our Kundalini awakening as twins. At that time we were not even aware of its
It's
importance.
gonna be up here. I don't know what it is.
Ding ding. The master being. So the Kundalini energy is actually the divine feminine within us. And the Kundalini energy is located at the root chakra. What happens when the Kundalini energy is awakened, it starts rising through the chakras and it actually cleanses each chakra until it reaches the crown chakra, and then it comes out and it merges with the divine masculine, which is on the other side, let's say.
And these are just the basics. You have a much bigger stuff
Yes.
coming out.
So here on Earth, perhaps the biggest symbol, another expression of the divine feminine energy, is Earth itself. And Earth itself is the highest source of this divine feminine energy. The prana that comes from Earth is very healing. So all energy healing practices, they actually use prana to achieve healing of the energy field. And the most healing prana that can be used to achieve this is actually taken from Earth. Of course, you can take prana from everything around,
Even the
pretty
moon.
much. Absolutely. And the other most major source of prana on Earth, this is the sun. And they actually charge each other. The sun, on the other hand, is the symbol of the divine masculine. And they meet their energies in the space somewhere in the middle. In this space somewhere in the middle, we are occupying this space. And the point where they meet has another expression on the vertical side. This is the vertical, right? No, this is horizontal.
Yeah. I was
It
just
has an expression on the horizontal side, and on the other side of this horizontal line, yes,
direction.
stand air and water. And air and water, earth and fire form the four elements of nature.
The four elements.
Yes.
That's why the cross.
Right. So when you put them on the vertical, earth and fire, and on the horizontal, the air and water, they actually form a perfect cross.
Air and water, they are both like this. They are not straightforward.
Right.
The sun sends rays directly like this, and the earth is also steady, and very interesting.
Yes. About all this, I'm speaking on the blog as well, so like I said, you can go and read the whole article there.
It's going to be in the description.
So, I'm gonna continue. So this cross has perfect even sides from all sides. What it has been done during the patriarchy, they have extended the cross on the lower side.
To go lower, yeah.
Yes, to become longer, which is the side towards earth, which is materialism. So what they wanted to do is actually to bring more materialism to humanity.
So if it is just perfectly even from all sides, it becomes grounded. But because it goes further and further, it becomes materialism.
Right.
Just like with any other sign, if there's longer, it also becomes an extreme.
Yes. If you put it on the other side, it's also not balanced. This cross is actually a very ancient symbol, and you can see this symbolism everywhere in pretty much everywhere in Asia, especially where the Hinduism is. You'll see it everywhere in Bali, also in India. It's a lot together with the swastika. The swastika has an extended meaning of the same cross.
I see a lot in Switzerland, even though it doesn't matter what their meaning stands for, because for them it's like balance. We are the balance of Europe or whatever.
The medical cross.
Yeah, the medical cross,
Actually
the normal,
is balanced.
the pharmacy is.
Right.
And there's a serpent in the pharmacies.
Because that's the Kundalini energy. Because actually you can achieve perfect balance and healing within yourself only when you're perfectly balanced on each side of yourself, pretty much, on each of these four elements. So because of this, we suppose that most twin flame couples have chosen to come in combination of either fire and earth or water and air. We are water and air ourselves, and we both have our moons in an earthly sign because it has several meanings and expressions. It is to ground us during the whole process of the merging, and also so it can give us some stability. And also at the same time, earth, as we said, is the symbol of the mother, divine feminine energy.
Water, air, water, fire, and some earth and some earth. So
yes.
Basically the four.
So it brings a lot of healing as well. When you have an earthly sign and you use it in its higher expression, this is this can serve as lots of healing, of rebirth, renewal. And this we will see as well on the astrological forecast that is coming. There will be a lot of earth there, and this is the main reason for that. Mother Earth, the biggest healer here. Actually, what is happening right now as well, I'm gonna just put in brackets, all these fires all over Earth, in the Amazon forests and in Siberia earlier, and many other places.
Hot waves coming.
Yes.
From everywhere.
There's a much higher expression of that, and this is rebirth. Actually, Mother Earth is cleansing herself. She knows very well what she is doing. By thinking of all these processes of like, oh, poor Earth, we are actually not sending healing. It can sound a little bit cold.
Yes, and the other cold part is regardless if it's man-made or nature-made. It doesn't really
Right.
matter because the cause and the reason is still there in game. It doesn't matter.
Mother Earth has to prepare herself for the new energies. We cannot expect to transition in the new energies with everything even looking the same way. There will be species disappearing, but remember that whenever there's a species disappearing, there's always a species appearing, sometimes even
Yeah.
more than that.
They like to say, "Oh, the bears, a very rare species of bears has disappeared. So many more other things are appearing, crazy bugs and I don't know, many different animals, different."
Everything is upgrading, animals, plants, the air, the water, everything. Even our fears are upgrading, as expressed as entities in the fourth dimension. The whole fourth dimension is also upgrading, and they are raising their vibration as well.
Feels
It was
good
a
to be
good
alive.
breath, yes. So, we are very much in a phase of our transitioning right now, which is preparing us for the culmination. And what came to me as number one information 2 days ago was that this is the reason why most of the twin flame couples right now are not in union. Because it is not that the twin flames are not ready, it is because humanity is not ready, most of all. Twin flame couples, they can very easily adjust to each other and they jump in their own fire and they start their own battle. Because being with your twin flame is pretty much this. It's like a constant vortex that you're entering, and there's no coming out of there until you achieve the highest point. When the twin flames connect, we have already mentioned this before, but like we said, they start merging through their Kundalini energies, and they merge through each chakra, starting from the bottom, going to the highest. It's a very painful process at times, because during this process, you let go of a lot of things. All the emotional blockages you have gathered throughout lifetimes, if you have been other lifetimes here, because some of you may be here for the first time on Earth. And all these blockages are super deep. Before there's a stage before actually meeting your twin flame, we will make another video about that, because that stage is now for all of you. That's very important. For us, this stage was when we were communicating just online through Messenger mostly. We're just messaging each other for 2 years. Okay, I suppose that with us we have done a lot of work in previous lifetimes, and I truly feel that this is the last lifetime for us here.
And for many more as well.
Yes. And perhaps that's why we managed to stay in union, even though all the difficulties we had been going through, because it had been very, very difficult
Yes.
sometimes.
I just want to say that the emotional, we forget about it. We think it's something that we overcome easily and stuff like this. But the emotional is basically the subconscious and the ego. Everything together is one thing. And something that really make me look very deep to it, I was already with you, and even when I was not, is that I found a way to get enlightenment. Like there was many ways, but one of the ways was through a vortex that I opened myself, and I really loved it, the experience. But something inside of me didn't want to die. I mean, I was not gonna die. I already shared with many beings, including Petya, but they all say this is not true. You're not going to die. You're just gonna let go of your identity, and this is basically what I feel. So this is the emotional body that is not letting us to go through. This is the opposite of the enlightenment.
We have to always remember that with dying, becomes the birth of something new.
Yes. That's why we let go of old friends to get new friends, for example.
Yeah. Laura Georgie, the astrologer that we will read her forecast. I mean, I'm gonna translate literally right now directly from Bulgarian to English, so I may not translate everything in detail, but why I love her so much, because she combines astrology with spirituality. And
Interesting what you're saying.
yes, and that's very, very important, because all these type of sciences, because astrology is almost like a science, they are very much connected with spirituality, but we forget that. And when we focus only on the logical part of it, you know, the scientific part of it, we don't get the deepest truth there.
And it's something very strange what you're saying, because I have a scientific friend myself, and he doesn't believe in astrology because of the concept of planets. They change very different compared to the scientific community. But you're saying right now that this being is spiritual and with the astrology, and I thought it was already like this, but apparently it's not enough. Like, it's
Well,
not,
there's a lot of logic there, because you are following the planets and
I
how they're
understand that.
aligned, and
You have to
this
use
has certain meaning
wisdom.
and stuff like this. Yeah, so it's pretty much like a science itself, but with very deep meaning. And you can actually search for Santos Bonacci if you don't know him. He is on YouTube, and he speaks a lot about this specifically, and how the Bible actually has the highest symbolism inside. This is actually about astrology.
Yeah, we can decode it pretty much.
Yes, and it's super interesting, and everything is related. It has been a message that has been channeled to us through the Bible. But that's a different topic.
Yes.
So, right now, we're actually in a phase of preparation for this union. And the most important message that came to me was that all twin flames are going to come finally into union at this time of culmination, which is starting at the beginning of 2024. Until then, like I said, we're gonna make a separate video about that. What are the most important things to
Unite with
work
your
on
twin flame.
on yourself, so that this union can be the best perfectly expressed, will come from our personal experience, what has helped us and what influenced us the most. So I instantly, after I got that the next morning, I just felt to contact Laura and speak to her and to ask her if she sees something big at this time.
At this time, yeah, this year.
At first she looked and she's like, nothing really, you know, so major and stuff. But then she started to look further, and there's two very important planet transitions. The one is happening December 2023, and the other is happening January 2024. And one is in a water sign, and the other, I think it was, the other is definitely in an air sign. And it's in Aquarius, and we are the age of Aquarius, still transitioning fully to it. But perhaps at that moment we will also reach the
peak.
culmination, the peak of it also, of the full merging. And this will be the moment when most twin flame couples will actually finally come into physical union. And this will serve almost as an explosion on Earth. And this is actually what they're talking about as and referring as the event. Because if you have seen this vision that I had last year, and I made a video about that, about the event, I said something about 20 something there, and I thought it was a date, but it was actually the year.
Oh, so it was the same message.
It was the same thing, because what I saw was a huge wave of energy, which energy I felt like so much love. I cannot even describe it. And such a flow of love energy can come so fast and all of a sudden only through connection of twin flames. And that's our highest mission here on earth, actually, to help erase collectively the vibration and to reinforce this process.
Many of you don't know, but one union of twin flame equals to 1,000,000 of awakened beings. I don't know. It's
Yes.
indescribable.
Super
Because
big.
it's the love, the romantic thing. It's not a usual romantic force. It's actually above everything else we know. It's like very powerful.
Okay, we change position.
Yes, so it's
For
getting
the light.
dark. You have the knowledge now.
So I'm gonna try to translate. I haven't done a translation beforehand. And she has actually put, like I said, a lot of spiritual insight at the beginning of her report. And there is a reason for that, because the whole processes that will culminate have already started. And there's even more that is coming. Probably you have already felt it. This year has been very difficult and heavy on energies. Super difficult.
Super. It has been probably already getting to 2 months already, this energy.
Oh, it's been from the beginning of the year. But now it's even heavier.
Yeah.
And many of you, like Andre said actually, the last couple of months have been experiencing it with headaches and tensions
and just low energy. You wake up sluggish and you go to bed sluggish. It's like there's no Heidi, I don't know, something. Woo! You wake up, you cannot.
No, you cannot.
But when you work on yourself, you continue. You don't go down. You just continue. You don't say, I cannot unite with my twin flame. Look at this, so heavy. That's why you need to go even further, just to go there and do it. Because otherwise we wouldn't be making a video. We will be sad or depressed, but we are not. We need to go through it.
Okay, I'm gonna start.
Yes.
With whatever I can translate. The time that we live in right now requires to encourage within ourselves to encourage the courage to encourage ourselves
Yeah.
and the inner desire to actually go out of the preset traditions in whichever sphere it is, because they are created in times in which they served a different purpose. But times are changing, just like where humanity is heading, which requires a new value system, an overcoming of the traditions and the limitations we have preset in our consciousness. What has been bringing satisfaction in the souls of people a century ago doesn't bring satisfaction in the soul of the beings nowadays.
Very interesting.
That's why it is good for us to give the freedom to counteract everything that doesn't bring us inner satisfaction. Although we have been following the traditions of our parents, the society, the culture that have brought us up, it's time to bring the traditional under question, to question it, and to compare it with our personal sensations. What is happening into practice is confirming the dying of the traditional models of society.
Which it has been for a while.
Yes. Students don't want to go to school. The young people don't enter into marriage. It's increasing the number of people who cannot have children and also the number of divorces. People go to work just because they have to, but without the desire, the inner desire for that. It's increasing the number of sick people and so on. we have reached a time of deconstruction of the model of life which they have brought us up with. More obvious than this it cannot be. That it's time for change and for creation of a new model of life. To become aware that we do not wish to live in the old traditions, and the least we can do is to change the world. And actually, that's why many twin flames are actually indigos and crystals as well, because that's their highest mission, especially of the indigo essences, to put down the traditions, what has been, created in society, the norms in society until now.
Yeah.
So that we can put the foundation for the new which is coming. Even the astrology shows that what has been, that the founded grounds in brackets, which is in Capricorn, is already too old and it needs a rebirth, which is Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, which is happening at the moment. Finally, there will be a lot of battles for power, but they will only lead to self-destruction. And in the end, battling between ourselves, the structures, the ruling structures, will actually destroy themselves by themselves. Saturn and Pluto haven't been getting together in Capricorn since the 13th century, and more especially since 1284. When was the exact point, the exact time when they were together of alignment? And this will happen again in January 2020. Saturn is a planet which counts the time of a certain cycle or a period, and is actually asking for the results of the actions for what has been done or unfinished or left unfinished. In this aspect, if it has come time for something to go to an end, this will happen until the end of 2020, when Saturn is in its own power. Pluto is a symbol of transformation and also of cleansing passion, desires, and unconscious instincts, which also includes all kind of unhuman and immoral expression of the human. At the previous time when Saturn was in its own sign of Capricorn, was November 1988 until October 1991, fell the Berlin Wall, and the communist society was destroyed in Europe. We're talking mostly about Eastern Europe. And that happened also in Bulgaria. I was 6 years old at that time. It was in Bulgaria. This happened in 1989.
Mm-hmm.
And this actually started a series of happenings which are continuing to date, and we are witnessing them. And indeed, Bulgaria, for example, it still suffers the consequences that came from the destruction of this organism, because it was really like a big organism, the communism, like any other structure like this.
Yes.
democracy as
Like
well,
North,
and yes,
North
monarchy, everything. Anyways, the interesting thing is that when Uranus joined Saturn in Capricorn during this time, which brought sudden and abrupt changes through these years, and also in the ruling of the countries. That's because of the Capricorn itself. In the period until the beginning of 1996. After that, Uranus entered its own sign, Aquarius, and started the era of the internet, because Uranus rules everything new and revolutionary, the technologies, the progress in the human thinking. In the personal aspects, changes also started to be felt on a very massive scale, when Uranus especially was in Aries from 2012 until March 2019. In this period, many people actually went through their own inner revolution, and they managed to change their lives. That also
counts for us.
Counts for us, yes. Taking unusual decisions and letting go of traditions and the matrix. We have done quite a lot of this, I think.
And maybe other beings as well.
Yes, absolutely. From March 2019 until May 2026, Uranus is in Taurus. This is the sign which symbolizes Earth and the material world. Plus, our interpretation that Earth is actually the feminine, the divine feminine, the symbol of the divine feminine. All astrologers cannot wait, and they are observing and awaiting for revolutionary changes in the financial system, the way labor is paid, big changes in financial plan, and change of the owners of the main financial funds. This is something that I also shared on the vision for the event. If you remember, what I saw was, still see it as a visionary in front of my eyes, how finances are moving from the richest people in the world towards everybody else. It was becoming
it was like leaking to the other.
Yeah, it was spreading like a mist. It was very interesting.
So perhaps we're all going to become balanced.
Right.
Not
so expect the unexpected, she says, pretty much. It's very possible these that control the world in financial and material aspects to lose everything and their capital to go into the hands of these who at the moment experience not enough abundance.
Mm-hmm.
People very quickly will start to change their material priorities with spiritual ones. They will come out of the matrix in the name of living freely and more peacefully.
That's why minimalism is also growing a lot now, because minimalism is
everything.
Letting go of
Tiny
material.
houses, living in a van, all this is an expression of the same thing as well. It has just been starting, it's gonna become really big. And also, the people will focus on having their own time, not working for someone and someone
not
to
working
tell
for
you.
time, but actually investing their time on themselves.
Right. To be their own masters, pretty much. The revolution which Uranus always brings in moments is expressed in the material world. And this also includes changes in Earth itself. Earthquakes, volcano eruptions, fires, and so on, which is we are experiencing this right now. So the Earth is in revolution herself as well.
I don't really feel that we are going to destroy ourselves. I finally feel that we are gonna succeed.
It's actually a
'Cause
rebirth.
it has been for many life, like the Earth lifetimes with humanity lifetimes, that we have been destroying ourselves and rebirthing. But this time it's gonna be a rebirth without actual ceasing the existence of humanity.
Yes,
It's gonna be.
yes.
I really feel it like this.
Because the previous human races, we're now on the 5th human race, let's say, and we are about to enter very soon the 6th. They actually had to come to full destruction, like the Atlantis. They came to full destruction to put the beginning of something new, the new human era.
And this time we're
going to skip this now.
Skip the destruction.
Yeah. The total destruction. Like she already said, you can expect that the material is going to change its position, the material abundance, financial crisis can be expected. Also going down of the finance system, change of the most powerful currencies, which are right now the most powerful countries, and so on. So please take this very positively. Don't
create
fear. Don't stay in the fear.
Useless fear, unnecessary fear.
Right. It's all for a very high purpose.
So, wrap yourself with and take the adventures that technology and abundance still exist, and use and wrap all this positiveness, whether it's through audio, books, videos, with love or the highest vibration, like just positiveness and love. Really, there's
Absolutely.
only two things that are doing, and they are increasing. They are deep, but actually they are getting more like external, so obvious that love and fear is the only tools and material to make a foundation of anything, whether it's spiritual, energy, whatever. So really embrace love, because it's the only thing.
Love is the highest of the highest of the highest expression of anything, and fear is the lowest expression of this anythingness.
With fear you cannot express yourself, for example. With love you can.
Absolutely.
And there's something that every awakening being does when they awaken, right, from the system, is actually to start to see the conspiracy on Earth and to make theories about it. And that's why it's called the conspiracy theories, and they start to share, and most of them is fear-based. So if you transform this into love, it's going to be amazing.
So I'm going to move on to the actual planet that signifies this, that came as information to me, and that is that as Uranus is still going to be in Taurus in January 2024, Pluto enters Aquarius, which happened for the last time in 1778, 1799. And during this part of time came the French Revolution. During the French Revolution fell the monarchy.
Very surprisingly, in Paris, I don't know if it's still over or not, there's this revolution of the yellow jacket. So, very interesting.
So as a result came the first French Republic. We can actually expect something as global, which will seriously change the world in the period of 2024-2044. While Pluto, which is the transformation, is in Aquarius. And that means a revolution of the human spirit, which desires progress and advancement. And then she quoted one of the most significant prophets, the Bulgarian prophets. She's not on Earth anymore. And she said, what has to happen, it is happening.
Today's the day.
Everything stays in space and is waiting for its time and place to happen. Vanga, that's her name.
That was a huge, amazing experience.
That was super beautiful. Infinite gratitude for being able to share all this with you, and please share this video. Make sure you spread
I
the
just want to make
message.
a quick conclusion of all this, that because I was listening, perhaps there's a different perspective. That basically we are going to be given the tools, the easy tools, like here you go, in order for us to embrace and to be very easy the new world that is coming, the new Earth, right? And one of the things that will come along is the easiness of the twin flame reunion. And so don't wait for this moment. You can already start if you didn't start yet, or you can continue to go on this journey instead of separating. If you are planning to separate, continue, because it's the only way. One twin flame
the most
reunion
important,
is...
like Andrew said, is do not focus on the union itself, because that's not what is going to bring you evolution right now. And in this period of preparation, in this phase of preparation before the reunion, what the soul, the highest need of the soul right now is actually to grow. And this is what Laura, for example, she has shared with me. Since she met her twin, she's not focused anymore on reunion with him, but she is working on herself spiritually, and she has grown so much. She said, I totally transformed myself.
So even if you are separate with your twin, you can use this opportunity to look at yourself and see where it needs improvement, and remove all blockages and emotions that you don't need anymore.
Whatever you see on the surface, because when you're by yourself, you cannot see that deep.
Yes.
Only your twin flame can dig out the deepest.
It's not that we cannot see really, it's that we don't have the courage to remove it.
Of course.
We can see it very well, we know very well what's going on, but sometimes we don't even know if it's okay or not to go along with this emotion or whatever core belief it is. But at the end of the day, the twin flame is the only one who can rip apart this thing.
Exactly, rip apart.
We had to show a kiss.
Okay, guys.
Guys and girls and
Guys
boys
and girls.
everything.
Stay tuned for more. Subscribe, and like we said, share this message. It's very important to reach more twin flames, and not only because what we are in right now is a very strong period of transformation, and we have to make the best out of it.
Yeah, transformation and miracles.
Yes. We love you very much.
Like we say in Bulgarian, mnogo ljubav.
Até já.
Até já.
In Portuguese.
That's what I learned, and that's what.
See you next
time.